Have you ever wondered what it really takes in order to build lasting success? And not just success for a season, but actually for decades. Because you see, here it is, you may see somebody that here it is, you see the results showing up. You may even see the multitude of businesses that they're creating and even the impact itself as to what this business is able to impact for those individuals. But you might not actually see necessarily all the decision makings that happens behind the scenes when nobody's watching, or even the mindset itself in terms of what that individual has to do in order for the success of what they're seeing to actually seem like it's just flowing too. So today you are going to actually specifically what he was able to do throughout his decades to being able to successfully impact other people's lives while still keeping intact his ultimate purpose. So today, without further ado, I have with me Mr. Danny King.
How you doing today, Elijah?
Absolutely fantastic. Absolutely fantastic.
Thank you.
So within the success, before the success itself, before business itself, right? Who is Danny King?
Woo, that's a great question. Danny King is the youngest of 13 siblings that was raised in Duplin County in rural North Carolina. Dad's seen a lot. Dad's been exposed to a lot. A lot of my success and a lot of the things that we have accomplished have been through just the struggles in life. Lost my father at 5 years old. My mother raised 10 of the 13 children in the 60s as a single mom. So watching the work ethic and the struggle alone kind of shaped and mold everything that I do now as a professional. Yeah. Been exposed to poverty, food insecurity, just the struggles of life. But that perseverance allowed us to be able to understand what it takes to survive. And I think that being the youngest of 13 siblings, you get a little bit from everybody. And when you can gather and learn from others, I think it just shaped and molded and made me just a whole person. Very socially well-rounded.
That is absolutely phenomenal. And so would you say that, like, have you had anybody besides your mom that has been kind of like that absolute, pillar to your life of being able to see all of the things she's willing to do for you guys as family? But has there been anybody else, like a mentor or somebody else that was kind of like guiding you to where it is that you are now or anything of that nature?
Yes, well, family as well as mentors. Family in terms of older siblings, brothers and sisters that make it out. I mean, our family dynamics, we were trained that one person make it, that they would reach down and pull the next person up. Believe it or not, we had a 100% graduation rate. All 13 siblings graduated high school. And that's a very high percentage. After siblings would graduate from high school, they would either work, go to college, go to the military, and they would assist the younger people. So we learned early on that we respected our elders. So if you had elder siblings, elder brothers, sisters, gave them their respect. Not only that, you respected the people that was in the community, your teachers, your people that really poured into you. So I had one mentor by the name of Mr. Bob Carnegie that worked with me and really gave me a lot of socialization, taking me a lot of different places when I was young, to HBCUs, to jazz concerts and different things that really made me socially well-rounded as a young man. So I knew probably by the time I was in second, third grade that I was going to college. It wasn't like I had to prepare for it. It was just something that I wanted to do, was be a college graduate, Yeah. So
that is absolutely incredible.
Yeah.
And because, oftentimes we do hear that, the five people that you associate with, more than likely, you're going to wind up being the six, whether it is, you know, whether you're around five millionaires, you start to get exposed to certain things that completely challenges your way of thinking, but simultaneously, then you wind up starting to adopt some of their ways of thinking, and then that starts to, catapult your life in a huge way too as well. But vice versa can happen too. Oftentimes when you're earlier on in your child age, right, we don't get to actually choose our environment necessarily. And so a lot of the things that we believe may have came from that environment itself. And so the question I have for you is, at what age, or maybe even a turning point in your life, what specifically, allowed you to, branch out into what it is that you do now, of like, there's actually so much more for me?
Well, a lot of things that I do now is based on really my work experience. And I started a business very young. I think I started my first business, catering business, at probably 27, 28 years old.
Wow.
From we were living in the DMV area, we've always looked at things kind of like the process of duplication and being able to have multiple streams of income. So, not whether we worked a regular job or we always had other incomes coming in because you were just taught to kind of hustle and grind to make it, because again, when you come from a family that reaches back, then when your number's called, you got to reach back too. So by me being the youngest of 13, I had to pour into my nieces and nephews, great nieces and nephews, and I don't have any biological children, so I've poured back into all of my siblings' children and children's children. So that's one of the things that kind of made me competitive in life, because it wasn't just about making money or earning a dollar, but we wanted to make sure that others had the same opportunity that we had coming up. So that's kind of what shaped my motivation of, being successful, being a successful businessman or entrepreneur or nonprofit person, because if you want something in life, you just have to make it happen. Yeah.
Couldn't agree with you more. And so how has that journey from you being able to see so many different opportunities, that you've been exposed to throughout your family too as well, what would you say has been like that catalyst itself? Like, are you a firm believer in God? Like, do you rely on something outside of yourself? Or was it just that you had to just buck down and say, look, I got to rely on, just what I currently see right now, and I just got to operate in it? Like, what are you ultimately relying on that is creating this massive amount of success as well?
Well, my principle is really the book of Nehemiah and rebuilding those walls. I think what has happened in my life on the spiritual side is every direction that God put me in the workforce, and it's like everything that He used me for. Some of the jobs I worked in social work, I worked in social work, I worked in corrections, worked in education. Well, then I became, from the results of understanding social work, education, I was therapeutic foster parent, I understand mental health. I became a mental health owner, a mental health provider. I worked in sales, general contracting, selling, windows, roofs, vinyl siding. So when I began catering, I understood sales because, again, the roadmap that I had. So almost every avenue that I've had a job in kind of shaped me for business ownership. And that experience that I had in the workforce showed me how to manage and run a nonprofit, manage and run a mental health business. In 2003, I started ADLA Inc., which is acronyms for a lot of direction, love, and affection.
Mm.
In 2005, I founded One-to-One with Youth, which was a mental health business that worked with children with children and adults with disabilities. So it was almost like a double portion.
Mm.
And looking at the philosophy of Nehemiah, just being able to, in the book of Nehemiah, being able to go back and rebuild those broken places, being able to come into rural areas and help empower people, help create jobs, help create employment, help navigate. Like I own the catering business now, I do food insecurities. So everything has a parallel with my life. So I believe that what the Bible says, the steps of a good man is ordered by the Lord. I feel like my steps have truly been ordered. And it was never about money with me. It was more or less about the service we rendered, the service we provided. We're big on service delivery and being able to make sure that people get what they need.
That is huge. And so even in what you said that I love is that everything that you do is not necessarily focused on the money. You just knew that the money was going to come as a result of a byproduct of you staying diligent to the assignment that you feel like you're getting called to. And so even that itself, you have a lot of employees that are looking up to you in every way, shape, or form. Your family is also looking up to you in every way, right? Is there a lot of fear that comes with that? And if it is, like, how were you able to manage and continue just to, push forward regardless of maybe even the doubts that may come into your head and all these different things? How, like, for somebody else, they may be fearful, doubtful about the unknowns, what would you say to that individual to help them like overcome the challenges that you maybe experience in business?
Well, in business, nonprofit venue, there's always going to be challenges. There's always funding challenges, resource challenges. But, the Bible says faith without works is dead. I think the more effort we put into what we do, how we do it, and the integrity in what we do, I think once you're true to yourself, true to your business, true to the opportunities that are in front of you, it allows you to develop that trust and that faith in God. And that, where in the scripture it says that he'll supply all your needs according to his riches and glory. Again, with me, it's not about revenue or resources, but I've been in business for over 20 years, and we've never missed a payroll. So that's because of God. We do seed, we do tithe, we do plant seeds, we're givers. Bob also says it's better to give than to receive. So if you have to give in spirit, to give in heart, and pour into others, then God will pour into you. It's just things that, I believe our blessings have just come from the obedience and sacrifice that we made in sowing and giving to make sure people have, whether it's food, whether it's a job, whether it's help providing a roof over people's head. That has been, something that we have just been diligent about, in terms of making sure that the least of these, the fatherless generation, the people that really, the downtrodden, we want to work. We want to work and help the people that really have those needs, and that's what God has allowed us to do.
That is absolutely phenomenal, because we live in a time now where there is a lot of needs, and a lot of the times, it could come from economics, but it also can come from what we're also willing to do. Like, are we willing to do our part? And so from everything that I'm hearing is you're willing to go above and beyond, even if it didn't seem like at the time you had the resources or even maybe the understanding. You found people that also had skill sets that could also contribute back to the overall mission and team itself. So that itself is phenomenal in its own. And so what would you say then to the person that feels like that currently right now, they may be settling for a life that they don't want, and may want to actually start to pick the ball back up to actually start actually dreaming again and the vision that, they believe that God is calling them to. What would you say to that individual where they are now?
Well, as a visionary, one of the models that I had was in the book of Habakkuk. You're going to write the vision, you're going to make it plain. Although it may tarry, it will come to pass. You have to stay true to your vision. You have to stay motivated, stay focused on those things that, you were called to do. So anyone it's a process, but in that process, you have to be consistent in your approach to, for the things that you want to accomplish or you want to pursue. You definitely, I call it relentless pursuit. Yeah, in other words, you have to be motivated to go after the things that you're called to do. God gives you a vision to carry out your vision. You just have to have faith, and that's it. You have to have that faith. That's what I would recommend with anybody that's struggling. Stay true to it, stay focused, and have that faith that you believe. You have to have faith. Yeah.
That is so good. That is so good. And so from everything that you've been able to, create with ADLA and being able to give people those resources that they felt like they didn't have necessarily in their hometown or whatever the case may be, how was that a major impact for you to see that was possible for you to go out there and create something that has never necessarily been done before in your community? What kind of impact has that now created here and where we are now?
Well, we're seeing people, we've created a lot of jobs. We've empowered a lot of people. We've given people hope, given people just that motivation to feel like they can achieve and they can accomplish things is extremely rewarding for me, because this is why we do what we do. This is why we exist, is to help people fulfill their outcome and their dreams and their vision, to, motivate them to do better and be better. I just believe we were called to do that, and it takes a lot of patience.
Absolutely.
It takes a lot of work, to help people pour into their vision and their dream and their goals. Yeah.
That is incredible. And so what would you say to the person that is struggling with the idea between feeling like they have to sacrifice business versus family, closeness and things of that nature? Do you feel like there could be a balance to that? Or do you feel like you have to keep seasons at a focus and seasons out of balance? What would you say to that?
That's a good question. I just think just being focused and, you just have to believe in your goals and your vision and what it is that you're there to accomplish. That's, it within a nutshell, is your belief system. And just have that motivation and confidence that I think sometimes with family and business, and you have to separate family and business because sometimes it's not a good fit. But at the same time, you have to get people to buy into your vision and what you're doing, whether it's a family member or a stranger. You want people to buy into the vision that you're doing. And then out of all of that, I think lead by example. Whether you're the person that's doing the janitorial work or whether you're the person, submit the proposal, let your work speak for itself, and, just be consistent in your work ethic. And if your work ethic can be contagious to other people, and I think that's the one thing about me. For example, we built a strong catering business, but in doing so, we've had to cook, we've had to prep, we've had to load up the vans, from one faith, selling the jobs, doing the contracts. It takes every facet in business if you're going to be successful. So you just have to work with humility.
Yeah.
It's the way I would, approach that. Yeah.
That's powerful in itself.
Yeah. Yeah.
And how did you build these relationships over time? Because as you mentioned, somebody can be, doing the contract, somebody has to do the food and all of these different things in order for all of this to even come together for that ultimate delivery of the impact that you're wanting to create. And so how important has it been for you to develop in those relationship, building skills that is required for building kind of like a dynasty in this way?
I build relationships through my service delivery, through the work that we provide to people. I think that's the ultimate way that we have been able to build relationships through service. And you provide a quality service, then people see the sincerity of your heart and what you're providing. And doing that has been proven, to be effective in what we do. Yeah, through service delivery. And the reason I say all of this, in community services, as a community-based organization, whether it's providing mental health services or providing services from our community opportunity center, people have been lied to, have been promised things through providers. They have been told things and sold things. And a lot of providers talk the part, but don't actually do the part. And one thing I never wanted to be as a provider of delivering services, I didn't want to lie to people. I didn't want to sell people a bunch of hopes and dreams and not be able to deliver. And I think what we have done here at ADLA is we've made sure that we've provided a quality service that people can resonate with and they enjoy the service that we provide. But it's the sincereness of giving them a service that they need and that can make an impact on their life. And I think that's the most important thing. Who are you impacting with the service that you deliver? What difference are you making in those households and in those lives? And I think that's critical.
Absolutely. Yeah. And so from what I'm hearing is like you are really focused at this point in your life, the legacy in terms of what is actually happening even after you have served them. Are they able to get the impact and run with it? And so talk about that a little bit. Like, what is your overall mission with the businesses, the catering that you have? What is the further projection for all the different services that you provide at this point?
Well, one thing about legacy work and any African-American business owner is, for me, myself, is right now, individually, I want to leave a solid legacy, but I'm also working on the succession plan and training young people to be able to carry this torch to the next level. What we've done is good, but we see greatness down the road with all of the technology and all the things that is being provided. Our mission is twofold. Our food mission is being able to create quality meals, to families, one meal at a time, to eliminate child hunger. Our mission in the workforce is to help our youth and adults require the needed employable skills to function in a changing global society, while understanding the universal values of honesty, integrity, and respect in all we do. Our motto is honest day's work for honest day's pay. So we've always been about workforce, creating a job, keeping a job, maintaining a job. So our goal and what we're trying to do is instill those values in people. And that mission is, to be able to not only have a job, but create a livable wage and be able to sustain that job and then move to new dimension, new heights, and new levels through upward mobility by being consistent in your work and in the workforce. Climbing that ladder to success is about being consistent and being committed to your trade or your skill set. And that's what we try to teach. Another thing we do is we attach human resource development, problem solving, life skills to all of the workforce things we do that in order to sustain a job, you need to understand the dynamics and the behavior, the mannerisms, and how to keep that job, how to maintain that level of dignity and respect in the workforce, whether it's working with coworkers and having building solid, strong relationships in the workforce. So it's a lot to be able to do, but this is something that's very dear to us. At one time, we had the highest job placement rate for 16 and those in the state of North Carolina. We had a 48% job placement rate, where 1 out of 2 people that came into our program would be gainfully employed. So we try to still instill those values and stay with that kind of mindset of, that honest day's work for honest day's pay. And that's who we are as an organization. Yeah.
And so, with all those resources that you're being able to, provide, to your community, your clients, what other kind of like classes specifically are you guys giving them the tool sets and maybe even the certifications that's allowing them to even get these higher paying jobs so that they actually can not only just, work while they're living, but specifically be able to thrive while they're living?
Well, right now, some of the jobs that we're focused on, forklift training is one. We're the digital classes is another one. Being able to teach and train people in culinary arts, forklift training, digital literacy. Right now, 3 focuses that we have, and of course, we're going to add HVAC, heating and air conditioning. Some of the other skills like construction programs where we can teach light carpentry, electrical, plumbing. So, right now we're focusing on the workforce and being able to provide them with, trainings where they can create a little wage. So that's kind of, what we're doing with some of the classes in our partnerships with the community colleges and others to come in and teach that skill set. Yeah.
Incredible.
Yeah.
And then, so for somebody that's even thinking beyond, just like you mentioned, you didn't necessarily fully think about money. You were just walking more into the calling that you feel like God was calling you to. And so if somebody is feeling like they're getting, directed towards, specifically wanting to give back to their community, but may not necessarily want the backlash too as well. People, misunderstanding your mission and what it is that, you have to offer or what you're trying to do for your community. How have you been able to navigate through all of that?
Well, I've been at this a long time, just in the state of North Carolina alone. We founded ADLA in 2003, so we've been in existence for 23 years. I've just kind of stayed true to what I do. Don't deviate from what you're good at. Everybody has a niche, and just stay with what you're good at. I'm pretty good with people, and motivating people and getting people to believe in themselves. I've tried to just stick to my craft and stick to what I'm good at. It's been my overall success in what I do. I've always produced big numbers. I've always produced big turnouts, whether it's a food distribution or a workshop. I'm good with people and motivating people to gather and come out. So I just try to stay with what I'm good at, and that's my focus is just people and being able to impact people in that manner.
Incredible.
Yeah.
Yeah. And with that skill set, how has the times that have changed since 2004 to where we are now, what have you seen naturally in business from a mindset perspective that you hold still dear into your heart now that's been able to help, even make those decisions onto what you're actually even able to, continue to keep producing those big numbers? Because, we see all the time that statistics are saying, 90% of businesses is going to fail within the first, 1 to 3 years. And then even after that, it's even, crazier. So, like, how have you been able to, continue to stay in business for literally 2 decades and still being able to continue to see massive numbers still continuing?
It's solely one, your faith, your trust in God, then just being true to what you do, staying consistent, staying motivated, being driven, because it does change. Community changes, especially in community-based settings. There's a big difference in young people. Now technology has made a lot of thrives and has taken over a lot of different areas. So we've seen a huge difference in people because theoretically we are in the people business and we're in the helping people business. So we've seen a big change in people. I think really, truthfully, the sincereness about your approach and what you're trying to do and try to maintain that level of authenticity of just, how you approach this generation, this population, because it has changed a lot. It's not as easy as it used to be.
Absolutely.
So you have to have a different focus on your approach with people. And the trends change. We know in business, things shift, things change. Same thing with funding. A lot of people don't understand, that in business or in a nonprofit structure, legislature, they might fund child hunger one year. The next year might be crime prevention. The next year could be education, dropout prevention. You have to be able to adapt and adjust with the trend and the way things change. But you don't want to be in a position to chase money and to chase dollars. That's something we never did. We was just good at what we did, and we feed a lot of people. And during COVID, we delivered a lot of resources to families, and we also worked with the pilot called the Healthy Opportunity Pilot with Access East, Cape Fear, and Impact. They were the 3 network lead providers in the state, and we became one of the better providers that were delivering food boxes. So delivering supplies, delivering COVID supplies when COVID hit in 19 and 20, or what year, I think it was 19 or 20. And so you got to be able to adapt and shift and make the necessary adjustments. But you have to figure out the needs. That's how you'll be able to provide those needs.
Mm,
It's almost like people talk about supply and demand,
Mm.
Got to be able to have that supply for that demand. So that's kind of the trend in the nonprofit world, being able to make the adjustments and provide those needs that are there. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's absolutely incredible. And for anybody that is, wanting to stay plugged into the system and want to know how they can even, come into the facility and get that education that they're specifically wanting, whether it's in digital literacy, whether it's in financial literacy, and getting more, education on specifically what it is that we offer here, how can somebody specifically be able to do that?
Well, we're located at 612 South Breazeale Avenue in North Carolina, in Mount, North Carolina. We can also contact our office at 919-299-4450. I think our website is www.adlainc.org. Those are just some of the ways to contact us. And Andra Dove is our receptionist. So when you call in, and right now we're working on other technology platforms to make ADLA more accessible. So in the future, we'll have more information on ways to contact. But right now, those are the ways to kind of coordinate and contact us.
Mm.
Yes, sir.
Absolutely. Well, this has been an absolute honor. But again, as he mentioned, focusing on profits themselves is not what actually produces profits. What actually produces profits is staying true to your skill set that you believe God is calling you to, and it will become that much more clear as you continue to operate more in them. And so being a good steward with the resources of what you actually have, because all of it is a blessing. Right now, there's somebody that's probably looking at your life currently right now that wish they were in your position, right? And be also just as blessed to actually be able to experience all the problems that it can come with as well. And so we've heard that he didn't come from money at all, but here it is, through his diligence, he's been able to successfully not even necessarily have to think about money. And he's just been focusing on the diligence of his assignment itself of being a good steward again with his resources. So hopefully this has helped you in every way, shape, or form, whether you're struggling and, wanting to walk more into your calling, or whether you're just trying to figure out really what your gifts are so that you can actually be that good servant that can actually be a servant of all. But without further ado, hopefully this, allowed you to get over that hump, specifically to understand that where you are right now is not where you have to finish. So with that, stay blessed.